Okay, we're gonna start playing our songs, and everything is working fine, and now we had some technical difficulties, so I don't know. We'll just see how this works out. Nothing else. It always happens this way. But the words are gonna be over here. This song's called "Come to the River," and if you know it, sing along, and if you don't, you can read the words and sing along with it.
Myself and your truth, these cursing memories don't ever see their through. Oh, I thirst for myself, let me want to see more, till I found myself face down on your shore. Restless heart, let me astray to my selfish pride. I became my own slave, but you placed a thirst in me with no drink inside. 'Cause I could not see till I saw your eyes. Come to the river, oh, lay yourself down. Let your heart be found. You say, come to the river, drink from the cup I hold, and thirst no more. You say, come to the river.
We like to call ourselves the Oak Grove, and it is, because we spent our whole life in Oak Grove Church of God. So, and we are the worship team. So, what you would hear here is what we play in church. So, if you like the good music, you can come to Oak Grove. Just kidding. No. We're still having technical difficulties.
Try it.
You got it? Okay.
This is a song that we like to play. It's just an awesome upbeat song, but it really demonstrates God's love for us and everything He's done. And if you know it, sing along.
Love is mine, and so much stronger. King of glory. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy, worthy, worthy. Oh, this is amazing grace. This is a failing love. That you would take my place. That you would bear my cross. You may tell your life. That I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing all that you've done for me.
We got one more song we're gonna play, and then we'll have.
This song is called Multiplied, and it's a song we love to play in church. And Brandon, get your kid off the floor there. But it's really the words. There's only two. There's only a verse and a chorus, and they're exactly the same. So sing it out. It's really simple. The words. So it's a great song.
Your love is like a radiant diamond bursting inside us. We cannot contain. Your love will surely confine us like lazy wildfire, singing your name. God of mercy, sweet love of mine, I have surrendered to your design. May this offering These hallelujahs be multiplied.
All right, thanks guys. We appreciate that very much. Hey, it's time for Shanna Hayes, she's our ACS representative, to come forward. Where is she? Oh, there she is.
Check, check. Okay, that's fine.
We're gonna turn off the lights real quick. It's just a quick little video. Okay. That was just a little piece of Relay, what Relay's all about. Here at Relay, we dream of a world with no cancer. That is our ultimate goal, is to end cancer once and for all. We want to find a cure. We dream of a life with more birthdays, we dream of a life with more love, and we dream of a more fulfilled life without cancer. My name is Shanna. I am your community manager for Relay for Life of Ripley County and the American Cancer Society, and I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight and being a part of this. You are our most honored guests, and we are so proud to have each and every one of you here. You offer inspiration and hope to the world around you, and we look to you, and you're our heroes. So I want to invite you all to come out to Relay for Life this Saturday. Who all has been to Relay for Life before here in Ripley County? Wow. I think that's amazing, and that's why I love this community so much, because you guys come out and support one another. And I hope you can all come out with your purple shirts on. This Saturday at 6 o'clock at Riverfront Park, we'll be doing our Survivor Lap, because it starts with you, our most honored guest. So I hope you guys can be there. One other little thing I wanted to mention. When, during the video, you guys saw the bags lit up. That's our Luminaria ceremony. So most of you guys have been to Relay, so you know what that's all about. We are selling our bags. If you would like to have a bag at the ceremony, you can buy one for yourself as a survivor because you've earned that bag. As you walk along the track and you see all those bags, it kind of tells a story of each person that's lived with cancer. It's also a memory of those we've lost from cancer. So if you guys would like to buy a bag tonight, they're for sale. Tammy's over here in the green shirt. So if you'd like to buy a bag, it's $5. You can buy one in memory of someone or in honor. And while I'm talking about the green shirts, I just want to recognize my fabulous committee. They're right back here by the door. They've worked so hard to plan the relay and to put the Survivor dinner on tonight. So can we give them a big round of applause? Thank you so much. Also, while I'm up here, I just want to remind everyone what the American Cancer Society does here in your community and in every community. We are all about staying well, getting well, finding cures, and fighting back. Okay, so just let me break that down in each piece. We stay well, we help the community to stay well by finding early detection, by defining those precautionary measures, where you need to be within your risk factors. So everyone should know those. We help you to get well by finding ways that you can get treatment, by providing services such as Hope Lodge. Has any survivors in here stayed at the Hope Lodge before? Yeah, we have a couple of hands going up. The Hope Lodge is a great place to be, and they give you care and comfort while you're in that treatment process, when it can be a very scary place. They give you a home. Also, we have a call center that you can call and find out any information that you need at the time. They can connect you to resources. Also, let you know where clinical trials are available and connect you to those too, which can be very important when you're facing cancer. The third thing we do is to find cures. And that's our biggest focus right now, is to find a cure. Because we're never gonna get anywhere if we don't focus on actually putting an end to cancer once and for all. So, by providing research, that's where Relay for Life comes in. As a Relay for Life participant and team member, they help us to raise money so that we can put it all into research. And that's what's gonna put an end to this horrible disease that affects so many of us here. And the last thing we do is we fight back. We fight back by advocating for new laws to protect those with cancer and to help us to be detected early. So that's what Relay for Life is all about, and what the American Cancer Society is doing in your community and in every community and for every person with every type of cancer. So I just want to thank you guys all again for being here, and I hope to see you at Relay.
And even when I'm caught for the heart that holds on. Every day to troubles, but until that day comes, still I will praise you. Still I will praise you. Singing, oh no, you never let go. Through the calm, through the storm. Oh no, you never let go. In every high, every low. Oh no, you never let go. Lord, you never let go.
Well, I apologize if you're trying to read the words over there. I get into the song and I can't touch the buttons at the right time, and I'm sorry about that. But hey, coming up next, I really am a little apprehensive about saying much about the next speaker because I'm afraid I'll say something that she's going to get into. But I'm certainly was thrilled to hear that Jane was going to speak tonight, and you know. I will say this, and like I said earlier, fortunately I've never been in that room where the diagnosis has been with me, but if it ever was, I would want Jim and Jane Stillwell on my team, because I've never seen anybody, so you know when you're diagnosed with cancer, you got to have a plan. There's a plan. You got to what treatments and all this stuff. I've never seen anybody so organized and planned out and informed in all my life in these two. And it's just amazing. And I just praise the Lord for how she came through this. And it's just, I'm glad she's here because it's an example that we certainly need to look to. So come on up, Jane, and I'll stop talking and you start.
I would have never said I was organized, so you didn't say that.
Check.
Don't worry, not all this is what I'm going to be talking. That's kind of scary, and I'm only going to talk a couple pages of this too, so don't get too scared then. I was sitting here last year, and I was helping like a lot of the Oak Grove family is, and as we say Stillwells, I was kind of fat, dumb, and happy, just enjoying myself. And if you remember back, Brian and my niece was singing. Tim Martin, one of my classmates, was doing the music. Darla and Julie Ray were doing the speaking. And one thing was mentioned, I would hate to follow them, but I guess I am, but one thing was mentioned is hard to tell Darla no. So I'm not sure the wisdom of speaking whenever you've had throat cancer and all that, but if you can hear me, and one thing out about what I say, please listen carefully. I know I'm a little hard to understand, but I'm very thankful to be here. Jim Stillwell's job's still in Georgia, so UPS did allow him to walk a lot of steps with me, and he'll appreciate the organized thoughts. But basically, I want to do an old teacher trick here, and that teacher trick is I'm just going to ask you a couple things so I cannot maybe repeat a whole lot that maybe some of you know. First of all, how many of you remember when I grew up here? I lived here for 32 years. And some of you have had to come up, so I've got classmates here. And I'm going to mention some people along the way too. But how many of you remember my brother Bruce, my sainted sister-in-law Kim? She might be new to you. Oh, Bruce, they're shaking their fists. Oh, he told me not to try to be funny, but no, I'm teasing. Okay, I'll mention Bruce and Kim along the way, and then I have a twin brother, Jim, and he's coming back from Piedmont. I guess he and our dad have been at Piedmont on Thursdays for 50, 60 years or whatever. So anyway, they've sent their blessings to me. Jim Stillwell is in Georgia, that's where his job is, but he's been with me a lot too. And I'll mention other people probably along the way too. But a lot of you have helped me. I'm sure a lot of you have been praying for me, and I appreciate all of it. But Jim Stillwell did say, he said, be sure and tell him that we thought we knew what it was like to be thankful for our family and our health, our kids or whatever. but now we know truly what it's like to be thankful. But basically, I did want to tell you that I moved back about a year ago, and I started teaching at Doniphan Middle School, and I lived for 2 months with my brother Jim, and then 2 months in an RV, and then 2 months in the basement, and then we started building a house and moved in January. So about the time that we had the winter weather, I started having some sore throats, and I thought, well, I've been living a little differently than usual, most people, so that's probably why, and it didn't go away. And so our brother Jim can write prescriptions for antibiotics, which I never take. And having a dad as a doctor, I don't really like to go to doctors, but anyway, I took a round of antibiotics thinking it would help, and it didn't help that much. And so he gave me another round of antibiotics to take, and that didn't help much. So about the time Jim Hunt and I turned 59, I go, you know, I don't really feel very well. I'm tired of not feeling well. I think I'll go to the doctor. And thankfully, I was out of school the next day. And I was very professional, went up and I said, please give me an appointment, I need an appointment. And so they let me come in. And you know you're in trouble when the nurse opens up your mouth and she goes, oh my God. And you know, you're like, nurses aren't supposed to say that. But she did, so I kind of thought I was in trouble. So she sent me to Poplar Bluff. And excuse my rudeness here, but the gentleman was Indian, and we say dot, not feather, but he was a little hard to understand, and so he was asking me for the third time, do I smoke and do I drink? And for the third time, I was just thinking we're having trouble communicating. I go, no, don't smoke, never have smoked, and maybe every 5 years I'll have a little drink, but no, I'm not a drinker, not a smoker. And he's like, oh, okay. And then I said, well, I guess I'm a little old to have my tonsils out, aren't I? And he goes, oh, you'll be very fortunate if you don't have cancer and don't have to have chemo and radiation. And I just sit there. It's like, oh my gosh, you know. So that's kind of how my journey began. Let's see, that was about April 3rd is when I found out that I was going to need to start the journey. I had the surgery on May 4th and went to St. Louis. Daniel and Danny came to see me, and my brother and sister-in-law, Jim and Evelyn, and there were many answered prayers. Turns out that a lot of my lymph nodes came back clean. They were going to have to go in both sides of my neck and only had to go in one. They thought they were going to have to do some reconstructive surgery, and they didn't have to do that. I thought I went through enough, so I can't imagine if I'd had to do all the others. And then they gave me a few weeks to get over that, and I spent many nights in a recliner. And then after that, I think it was in June, I started my radiation. Had about 6 weeks of radiation, and I'm a part of a study. And basically, I had to make the decision that I'd want to have chemo, or did I want to have radiation along with the surgery. And that was a hard decision to make. And my friend Darla's gone through chemo twice and looks great, but chemo, cancer, everything scared me. So all these high-tech people around me, we just let the computer decide. So the computer decided I would have radiation. So I started 6 weeks of that. I'm supposed to prove that you can live through this, and you can do it with radiation, and you can even do it with low doses. And so instead of having 33 days of it, I had 30 days of radiation. And I finished July 30th. School started August 5th, started with kids August 11th. I wasn't 100%. I walked around with the microphone a while. And kids, probably adults my age, would, kind of wonder, but these kids would come up and try to talk into my microphone, so it didn't seem to bother them at all. And I'm back more to, I think, myself. I have a few things that I have to deal with dry mouth and learning to talk again a little bit, things like that. But I'm very thankful. I went back a couple weeks ago and just kind of eyeballing me and checking things. Everything looked real good, and I found out today, I go back November the 18th, they're going to do a check to see if my thyroid was hurt because of the radiation. They're going to do a hearing check as part of the study too, because that was something, and all being so close to my hearing, they're going to check that. And of course have to have a PET scan. And a lot of you know more about this journey than I do. And I guess I figured out today, basically from having the surgery through radiation, It was just 3 months that really I had to fight the battle. And I would like to say that 8 weeks tonight I'm cancer-free, and I hope a lot of you have some of the same things that you can say. I know my dear friend Darla has, is it 5 years cancer-free and 25 years? 24 years, yeah. Very, very proud of that. I had 6 weeks of radiation in St. Louis, and so that meant I had to leave Doniphan, which I think the hardest part on me was I was going to have to, be in hot St. Louis all summer long and not be able to be near Doniphan because I wanted to come back and be in Doniphan and be on the river. But my sister-in-law had a place close to a lake that we got to stay at, and it'd take us about an hour going to do the treatment. My sainted sister-in-law, Kim, did the first week, which was supposed to be really easy. And, well, I don't do anything easy, I guess. So the first couple of days, I had a lot of extreme pain. And Pastor Danny sent me a Bible verse that I thought was real good. And if I step over there, I'll come up with it's in Isaiah. And after about 24 hours, I think I had read the same Bible verse 4 times. So I was like, okay, I get the message. This is a good Bible verse for me. But it's basically one about how, you don't always know what's happening, but, keep your faith and get through it. And I actually have that on a plaque now that was in my classroom, and all this kind of came together, which is real nice. But Kim got me through the couple days, and I'll never forget it because I don't know what I would have done with myself, because basically the radiation was triggering some pain, and pain I'd never experienced before, and I've had children. But I think they canceled me for 1 day, and then I was checked by 3 different doctors to try to find out what was wrong, and they figured it out, and I had to do some rounds of aspirin, I think it was, and lots of water. So if I stop here and get a drink in a minute, you'll know why. But I got through all that, and Kim, I remember the gentleman that said his mother and his grandmother had grown up in Doniphan, and we met him at the hospital. And I think it was good for me to meet him because he was 2 years on a feeding tube, and his cancer had come back 4 times, and that made me kind of put in perspective that what I was dealing with wasn't bad at all. And we've made a deal that he's going to come back, and we're going to go on Current River and go kayaking, and he hasn't been to the river for 2 years, so I hope you'll get to meet him, and we'll be on Current River, and definitely get it on Facebook. Okay, darling? We'll get it on Facebook. The next week, my brother Jim came with me, and I can't say I would do that. He missed a week of vacation at the beach, and I hope I would turn down a week of vacation at the beach to help him, so I'll need to do that. That week went so much smoother, and we actually got to play a little bit. We went to the Hill in St. Louis, a lot of Italian restaurants. I went to a little Italian grocery store, so I felt well enough doing a few things. And have any of you seen the Facebook accounts of where everybody kept talking about me and what kind of milkshakes? Peach milkshakes, yeah, from Chick-fil-A. Well, yes, I do love them. So anyway, a lot of people would email and text and say, I think I'll try those. You keep talking about that. Kim made sure I got a couple of them. The next week's, Jim Stillwell was able to come from Georgia, and he was with me. And staying with our sister-in-law, he was trying to juggle UPS work, me, and also helping his sister with chores because we were trying to kind of pay back for our staying there. So he had to deal with the last weeks that weren't that pleasant, and I decided not to go into the gory details of that because I can still remember them. But if you know of anybody that's going through head and neck cancer or think that they are, whatever, I'll be glad to talk to them about some of the things that either helped me or I just kind of endured or whatever. But you all have your own stories about that, I'm sure. But my friend Leslyn Wright Sanders, if you remember her, she helped me through a couple of the sessions, and she would, I know you remember Charlie, she went to the lake I was at, would take me to the treatment, then bring me back, and then go back home too. And we got to visit a lot, reconnect, and we had just had our 40th class reunion, but she brought in a lot of things that I don't know how many of you remember the Doniphan Middle School newsletters we had, or the Doniphan High School newsletters that we had. I think Dan will remember that. She brought a lot of those over, and it was fun to read those. So I'm trying to think along the way of all the God winks or the angels that helped me along the way, and I know I'll forget a lot of them, but it was nice to reconnect with her, and she gave my husband a break off the road 2 or 3 times, which was really nice. Something else that I forgot to ask about, how many of you read my husband's emails? They are either sent to you or, well, you would know my story from reading all those emails. And I think it was good therapy for him, but you know, he would get me settled, and he goes, oh, gotta go do an email. And he would go and work at it, and basically I printed them out, and I'm gonna play with them and hopefully try to use them, and that's a way I can kind of remember things if somebody does need some help with this type of cancer or whatever, but I'd like to see how many of you already knew a lot about me. Some of the other blessings I had lots of cards that were sent my way. I think Darla Gordon got on Facebook and said, let's send James some cards, and I got them for weeks and weeks and weeks. It was very nice. My church in Georgia sent me a lot of them too. And even today, this is 8 weeks after radiation, I had a student come up and say, hey, your voice is a lot better. And it wasn't one of my kids. But anyway, one of the students out in the hall. So it's still nice when people will say something or mention that they're still praying for me or whatever. Other things that helped me too, besides the cards, were Kim gave me this book. If you've never read it, it's called Intentional Walk, and you'll see along the way that I'm a Cardinal fan. But this is where I also got the Bible verse that you gave me. But it's a lot of the Cardinals talking about their faith, and you'll see in a couple of years that some of the men have changed in the organization. But some of the big people are there, Wayne Wright and then Mike Matheny and everybody. They're in there and they talk about their faith. And it was really nice to read this as I was going through it. I read other books too, but this was really good. This is what the middle school gave me. If you can ever help somebody with this, Kim, will you come model it? It has, it has a very nice saying in it that also has the color of my cancer. And when I lived in the recliner for about 4 months, this was really nice, and I don't do well with air conditioning, so I would use this going to St. Louis and back to all my appointments. But anyway, if you ever think, what's something I can give somebody that's going through this was very, very important for me. A few other things is I think it's important to have goals, and my goal most of the time, thanks to Darla and Kim and Bruce, they would get me out on the river, so this is my kayaking hat to make sure that I would get out there. And then the Cardinals helped me a lot too, and thank goodness they were winning, because I thought I was going to have an intervention, because it didn't seem like I needed much pain medication when they were winning, but when they were losing, then I suddenly I'm teasing me more. I also kept pictures beside me. This was a Darla idea, and this is my new granddaughter that I've only seen a couple of times, and so I set her in front of me so I could sit and look at her as I was enjoying the recliner. Oh, and I did this for my husband. I kept him close by too, with him being in Georgia a lot. This is the plaque that I had at my school of the Bible verse, and this has happened in other things too. I'll try to mention that along the way. A lady from Doniphan Middle School gave this to me, and it has a canoe in it, and it states, faith, it does not make things easy, but it makes things possible. And I have this in St. Louis with me because, of course, the radiation, I always progressively got worse. I had this in my classroom, and I had it at home too, to kind of remind me of where I wanted to go in my mind when I didn't always get to go there. Does anybody recognize where this is? Worley's Rock. Very good. I thought you would. Another tip I would give too is Jim and I thought it was real important to have 2 people whenever I would go in, because sometimes, I'll be honest, they would say something about some type of treatment or whatever, and I'd kind of black out for a while, and then I'd come back in again. Kim was very valuable for that too. I'd kind of grab her and make her go back with me. Leslin was a little hesitant. She's like, do I have to go? But anyway, no, everybody was real good about going with me. But the other tip is to keep you a notebook, and everything that you need to know, or insurance, whatever else, just keep throwing it in here. And I carried it every day for a while, and then I started getting a little bit lazy. But there were 2 or 3 times I had to pull this out and, answer the question because of the notebook. Phew, I think I'm finished with that. So basically, the helps are some of these things I was saying. Flowers, very nice. Oak Grove sent me some flowers. Some other people did too, and I'm not that really much of a flower person, but I've noticed now that I go out into the farm and I cut me up some flowers, bring them into the house, so flowers have become more important to me. Darla gave me an ice chest too, and it's a cardinal ice chest. Ends up I used that for like 4 months straight because some of the medicines and throat stuff that I had to use needed to be refrigerated. No, we'll just say it tasted better if I kept it cold. And so I was able to use that if that's a help to someone. And I've never been anointed before, and Oak Grove was nice enough to anoint me. I think like the next day I found out that I had cancer. And West Point Pentecostal Church also gave me a handkerchief that had been anointed. So that was another, I think, blessing that happened going through all of this. Cancer does affect the whole family. And sometimes I think when you're going through it, you really have it easier than the family that can't really do anything except sit you watch you through it. So I've been very thankful there. And my kids were able to come see me. My son's, if you remember him, he was 2 when we left, but he's now 29 and lives in Florida, and our daughter is 27, and she has the grandkids. She has 4, and she lives in Georgia, and they were all able to come see me, so that was a nice blessing. Darla had something for me. Darla was a soup and ice cream gathering that she had for me, and nobody suffered, but that's about all I could eat at that time. And we had delicious food there, so it was nice when you were getting a little tired of that special K breakfast drink and ramen noodles, when something nice like that would happen. And no matter what, if I couldn't talk much or visit or whatever, I still always enjoyed the fellowship. One nice dog week I had is, of course I'm not Catholic, but I went to an optometric meeting in Poplar Bluff with my twin, and I would go with my dad many years ago. So I went with Jim. Perfect date because I couldn't speak. It was at the first of school and I could barely talk. So I was sitting and trying to visit a little bit. And a female optometrist from Cape Girardeau came up and she goes, "Oh, I've been following you on your brother's Facebook page." I said, "Oh, that's great." And we talked a little bit about a picture of me in a kayak. And I said something like, yeah, the picture looked like the sun was on me, like the heavens had opened, and I finally got to go kayaking or something like that. Well, within a week, she had sent me, it's called St. Blaise, but it's a necklace that has St. Blaise on it. And she's amazing because she's an optometrist, so she's got a full practice there. And she has 5 kids, 5 boys, and the youngest is 1 year old. So anyway, to find the time to do something like that to somebody she didn't even know, I thought was truly amazing. So things like that have kept happening to me all the way. One person that's been a real joy for me is Wayne. If you'll look at Wayne, he'll wave at you. He would always encourage me and did a very good job of talking to me about some of the things and promised me that I was going to make it through this and all of this, of course, with God's help. I do think it's important to have people that have been through it to talk with you, and so if I can do that with anybody, I'd be very happy to do that. A couple of things that I thought were very important. One thing was what Darla told me. She said, and I asked her this a few years ago, I said, "How did you get through this?" And she basically just said, "You just do it. Whatever they tell you need to do, you just do it." And Becky Fryer, if you know her, Becky Belcher Fryer, she's certainly gone through a cancer ordeal, but I thought what she said was important too. I remembered it. She said, You'll have good days and you'll have bad days, but you will get through it. And hearing that from people that have been through it truly helped a lot. Another Bible verse that was important to me, it's the Bible verse I would use every day when I would go into radiation. And for those of you who haven't had radiation, it's about 12 minutes. And I found myself praying the full 12 minutes. But the Bible verse is, I think I've lost it here, but it's in Proverbs. No, I'm sorry, it's in Isaiah. But I've changed it, abbreviated it for me, but it's basically about how awesome God is and how God has promised to be with you and be your right hand, and that God always does good. So I would say that every day when I would go in. I would be thankful for my family and friends. I would pray for the doctors and the techs that were working with me. And selfishly, I would pray that the radiation would take care of the cancer and that I would survive all the radiation too. Music has helped me a lot. I should feel very comfortable up here because Danny is my pastor. These guys have been a blessing to me the whole time. At first, I couldn't sing with them. Then I tried to hum with them a little bit. Then I started singing alto with them. I've never sang alto before. And just today, I was able to sing a little soprano on a song coming here. So maybe one day I'll actually sing with you all and sing as a soprano. We'll see. Not with you, just at church. Just at church. Books have been important to me. Basically, I want to close with this, though. Whether you've gone through cancer or need to help someone else or you're going through it now, it seems like it's very important that you continue to, work with people that are close to you, your family and friends, help build a good support system. If you don't have a good, family unit, go out and adopt you one, because you'll need both of that, and continue to work on your faith and prayer and Bible verses. The Bible verse that I'm doing now is from Psalms. Lita Hunt shared it with me, and it's, it's just my version, but it's basically because I'm a believer, I can believe that you will heal me, and that's what I'm asking for now, is for healing. So that's the Bible verse I use now. But the other thing is to take good care of yourself, good health, and all those four things: the family, the friends, the faith, and taking care of yourself. You're going to need all of it to fight the battle. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you all.
The endless striving day by day, you barely have the strength to pray in the valley low. How hard your fight has been, how deep the pain within, wounds that no one else has seen, hurts too much to show. And all the doubts you're standing in between, and all the weight that brings you to your knees. He knows every hurt and every sting. He is one for suffering. He
that Jane was going to speak tonight, I was excited. I was also excited when I heard about our next speaker, because I don't think I just don't know if anybody that's had cancer that the community has surrounded this effort like Devin, and it's just amazing. Devin, just come on up and share with us and a chance.
Can you put it in that holster? I can't talk in like
Everyone, it is an absolute honor and a privilege to be here tonight, to be speaking. Every day for me now is a blessing. It's all gravy, but that's what it means to me to be able to be here tonight. But I also don't feel very worthy of being able to speak to this group. So many of you have battled with cancer and have survived cancer so much longer than me and know so much more about this horrible disease and its effects than I do. But I just wanted to share with you my story. When Darla asked Angel if I would speak, I of course said yes. And then my wife said, "Well, what are you going to talk about?" I said, I really don't know. And she said, "Well, it's kind of a family thing. My dad spoke at this, and I spoke at this, and now you're speaking at this." And I didn't know that until a couple of days ago, and then I got thinking, the one thing that we all kind of have in common is my mother lost cooking. So, don't know about Thanksgiving this year. So I just thought I'd just speak from the heart and tell you my story. And this is a survivor's dinner, and I talk to you about the difficulties I've experienced just being a survivor. My cancer experience actually started 5 years ago when my wife was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. So I got to see cancer from a caregiver standpoint. And then last summer I got sick, and we switched roles. And Pastor Miller was saying about how he's been in that room and how people have been diagnosed and told. I was told on August the 15th of last year, and it's something that's vivid that I will sure will stay with me for the rest of my life. I was at the Mayo Clinic. I'd been sick for several weeks. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I'd been going back and forth to doctors here locally, bouncing around, and no one could really figure out why I was having these symptoms. And Dr. Musser, I was in there to see him one day, and he said, "Devin, just go to Mayo Clinic. They'll figure you out in a few days." So that's what I did. I went to Mayo Clinic. I got to see an infectious disease doctor because they thought I must have an infectious disease. And he checked me for everything known to man. He sent blood cultures literally to London, England, because they couldn't be tested here, which would end up being quite a bill. But anyway, he then ordered a PET scan. I didn't know what a PET scan was at the time. And he said, "Come back tomorrow and we'll have the results of your test." And I go into his office and he sets me down. It's a very small little office, and he says, "I've got your PET scan results here." He's staring at a computer monitor. And he explained to me what a PET scan is. And he said, "Now what we want to see on this PET scan, we want to see blue and green. We don't really want to see any red. If it's red, that means it's a cancer cell." So he then turned the monitor around to me and showed me what he was looking at. And the best way I can describe it to my wife was it looked like a Christmas tree. There was some green, there was some blue, and then there was red literally all over. There was dots everywhere. And he told me that, he said, "You have cancer." And then everything in my life got extremely serious and very real for her. That feeling, that moment moment that Jan spoke of earlier. I know each and every one of you have felt that. It literally just shocked my conscience. I just did not believe there was any chance that I was going to have cancer. And I had cancer in countless lymph nodes. I had cancer in my bone marrow, in bones from my neck all the way through my pelvis. I had cancer on my bones in my chest. I had cancer in my spleen and my lung. And that day he told me, he said, well, you got one of three kinds. You either have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Hodgkin's lymphoma, or leukemia. And we can cure Hodgkin's lymphoma. But I don't know what kind you got until you do a bone marrow biopsy. And you'll have to come back next week for that. That was a long week of my life. As I'm sure all of us are guilty of, I got on WebMD and started Googling as fast as I could. What kind of leukemia? How many guys we got? What's Hodgkin's? What's non-Hodgkin's? Quickly I learned that the only chance I was going to have to survive very long was if I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I drove from Rochester, Minnesota, back home, got my wife, and then drove all the way back to Rochester because I wanted her there as my support group. And met with the oncologist, went and did my bone marrow biopsy, which that was a horrible experience. If you ever have a chance, if you have to do it, I suggest get sedation. A big old boy just stood on top of me, grinding some big needle in my hip, and I said, fella, do you got a hickory stick that I can bite down on? And he didn't know what that meant. So the next day we go and we see my oncologist for the first time. My wife is with me, and he comes in. He's very serious. He says, "Mr. Kirby, you have Hodgkin's lymphoma." And I immediately looked at my wife and we went, "Yeah!" And he high-fived each other. And he said, "I'm quite certain I've never had that reaction as someone being diagnosed with lymphoma, with cancer, right?" And but I knew that was if I had Hodgkin's, I had a chance. I had a chance to survive. And God, I prayed really, really hard that week, just give me a shot, give me a chance. And thank the good Lord, He gave me a good shot. I then got treatment at Cycling Cancer Center in St. Louis. Went through a chemo regimen that was supposed to be, as my doctor said, well tolerated. Well, that's an interesting way of putting it, well tolerated. Well, I didn't tolerate anything well with that. It took me literally to the brink of death. It hospitalized me numerous times. I had complications with neuropathy in my stomach and my intestines. I got where I couldn't digest food. I lost about 50 pounds. And I often joke, I said, Weight Watchers has nothing in chemo. And as you can tell, I'm too tight and frugal to buy new clothes. So these are from pre-cancer clothes. So I went through the chemo, and as you all know, you got to get your PET scan as you're going through the chemo to see if it's working. And unfortunately for me, on December 31st, they did a PET scan. All that pain and suffering going through that chemo, they came and said, we're sorry, but it's just not working for you. And in fact, you've got more cancer. You've got 4 new nodes that lit up. And before, when I first went, they said, look, this chemo you're taking, you've got a 70, maybe an 80% chance of survival with this new chemo. And so we think it's going to be the new thing. Signed for this clinical trial, which I did, but unfortunately it just didn't work for me. And my prognosis on that day in December went from one of very, very positive to one that was, the doctors would just say to me, said, well, it's going to be an uphill battle. And so with a lot of discussion with my wife, with my family, we chose that my best chance of surviving cancer was if I moved to Houston, Texas to get treatment in MD Anderson. And that's where I went. I went there on January the 7th, and they gave me some new chemo that worked. And I did a stem cell transplant on April 21st, and they got me in remission. And as I stand here today, I'm cancer-free. So it was the toughest journey I had ever been a part of or it was at times brutal, but I'm literally a walking testament that God answers prayers. And all through while I was fighting cancer, my thoughts were, if I can just get this cancer free, if I just beat it, it gets out of my body, my life's gonna go back to normal. I'll go back to normal. Everything will be fine. I don't have to worry about this anymore. And but after I got remission and I got cured, I started battling with all these negative emotions and feelings that I just was not prepared for. And I don't know as survivors how many of you have experienced this, but for me, I had no idea, but I had anger in my heart. I don't know why. I should have been elated I survived cancer, some people did in those situations, but I had anger issues. I was angry a lot. I also, it stole my peace of mind. Every time I had a little sore throat, or every time anything in my body would come up, say, that's cancer. Like, oh my gosh, is that cancer? It's completely stole my peace of mind. I also felt guilt every time I heard someone else that had cancer, or God bless her soul, died of cancer. I felt guilty about it. And I started having all these negative emotions, and I realized that even after cancer was out of my body, cancer was still affecting me as a survivor. And I thought and I reflected on it, and I decided that the only way that I could handle these emotions was I had to think about the positive things that cancer brought about my life. And when I thought about it, cancer literally transformed my life for the better in a lot of ways. And that's what's helped me cope with being a survivor and those feelings that I've had. One of the things that I concentrate on each day is I live every day with a sense of urgency. I know, statistically speaking, my cancer can come back at any moment, and if it does, I'm not long from this earth. That's just the cold hard facts of cancer. And so every day is precious to me now, and I have so much joy. And each day I wake up, I'm blessed. I'm happy to be here. I'm truly happy to say I'm here tonight speaking with you guys. It's an experience that I never asked for, I never wished for, but God's given it to me today, and I'm appreciative. And I didn't live life like that before cancer. I didn't have it. I didn't have that perspective. So each day is a much richer experience for me, and cancer has brought that to me. Cancer has also transformed my perspective on life. Before I had cancer, I was completely, I would say, professionally driven. I'm a lawyer, for those of you who don't know me in town, and I was a very hard-working attorney. And I valued my self-worth based upon how successful an attorney I was. And as I was laying in those hospital beds, thinking that I was dying, which I was, I realized just how much time I had wasted chasing things that were not near as important as relationships I had with people, especially the relationships I had with my children, with my wife, with my family, and just people in general. I completely thought differently about what truly became important to me in my life. And cancer transformed it. If not in cancer, I would still be living the same life. I'd be working 60, 65 hours a week, whatever it was, in that office, hammering away each day. And I would have lost so much time. I'm a much better father now as a result of cancer. Much better husband now as a result of having cancer. I'm a much better and happier person now because I know each day is a gift, and I live that way. And so if I concentrate on those things rather than the negative emotions of the things that cancer can come back, peace of mind, that helps me deal with those things. One of the biggest benefits that cancer gave me was, one, a closer relationship with Christ. Whenever the times that it looked bleak, and especially that week when they told me I had cancer, it brought me to my knees in a hurry, begging, pleading with God. And I knew His will was going to be served. And if I could just, I didn't plead for my life. I just said, God, I've got 2 children I want to raise. Give me I just want to be their father. I've got to be there for them. And through that begging and pleading, spawned a so much closer relationship with Christ than I could read. And cancer brought that to me. I would still be walking a very, very lost life if it hadn't been for having cancer. The other thing that it did for me is I got to see the true, awesome power of the human spirit. As an attorney, I've been an attorney now for about 12 years, and or 10 years, 11 years, whatever it's been. I've dealt typically with people at their worst moments in life, and a lot of times the court system, the criminal justice system, custody battles can bring out the worst of human nature. And I became a very jaded person. I thought I didn't. I almost became reclusive in a lot of ways. I didn't go out and do a lot of things in the community because I saw people out their best every day. And whenever I first was diagnosed, I didn't want anyone to know, because I thought, I don't want other attorneys to know. I don't want people to know. They'll think that's a sign of weakness. I don't want anyone to know. And I told my wife, don't tell anyone. And I went to each judge privately, and I told them that I had cancer and that I was going to be a little time off. But please keep it private. And that was my wish. And if any of you know my wife or know my mother, that was and I really hadn't thought that through when I made that request. They're Facebookaholics. And my wife just said, no, we've got to put this on Facebook. We got to tell them. And I was completely against it, but she needed that. And I came to realize I needed that. Because out of that, when she told the community, it was awesome what people did for me and my family. Chokes me up to think about it. People brought us food. People would stop in our driveway and in front of our house and would pray over my house and pray for me. I was on, I think, every church's prayer list for months and months. People in this room and countless others sent me the most wonderful gifts. I received hundreds of cards. Debbie Cox had this beautiful blanket made for me. It had all the photographs of my children on it from when I went through my stem cell transplant. People sent me care packages. And then they had a benefit for me and my family at the high school down here. I think there were some 600 people that showed up. On those dark days that we've all been through, suffering through chemo, and there were times that I got so sick, I told my wife, I don't think I can fight anymore. I don't want to go to St. Louis. I don't want to get that poison again. But knowing I had this many people pulling for me, it gave me such a source of strength. And I I don't know how much time that God's given this earth, just like none of us do. But I know I'll spend a lifetime trying to pay all that forward as best I can. And I would have never got to see that goodness of people and that amazing human spirit if I hadn't got cancer. And so, while cancer challenged me physically, emotionally, and spiritually, in every conceivable way, it transformed my life for the better. And I have a richer experience for life now as a result of it. In closing, I want to leave this with you. This is something that God laid on my heart one night when I was in Houston getting ready for my stem cell transplant. And it came to me with a dream, and it woke me up, and I had to write it down. And this was my mantra whenever I was having tough days. And it's, in pain we find strength, in love we find meaning, in fear we find nothing, and in faith we find everything. Thank you all for letting me speak to you, and God bless each and every one.
Great. I just want to say thank you to the school for letting us use these facilities. Thank you for Chartwell's. Thank you for our cafeteria staff, the food we weren't given a hand. We can do that again if you want to. Coffee more today. And wonderful people. Just thank you for Darla and the rest of the staff that put all this together, and we just appreciate it so much. We're going to finish tonight, unless there's anything else that we need to. We're going to. Yeah, see everybody Saturday night for Relay for Life, and we're going to finish with a song called Thrive, and that's what we got to do. I mean, that's what these two just explain. Through this whole ordeal, you just had to thrive. You just had to keep going to get through this. You guys know that you've been there. So let's finish.
just to know you and to make you known. We lift your name on high, shine like the sun, make darkness run and hide.
Thank you guys so much for